Shalom, everyone. Sometimes we hear in the Gemara ideas or details that we find weird or strange or unknown, and we can give them sociological reason, historical reasons. But sometimes there's conceptual things that are very hard for us to grasp or to understand, or even to think that they used to believe in such things, even though people do believe in many things up till this day. And in the Gemara in Gittin, page 66, is mentioning no more and no less demons, Sheidim. So let me share the sources and start looking inside. So Gittin Samech Vav, and the discussion there, the great similarity between the form of a demon and that of man has caused fear lest a demon be able to deceive a person. Therefore, one who hears the voice of a person stuck in a hole saying, "Write a bill of divorcement for my wife," does not write the divorce, lest it really be a demon, unless one sees the person's form and the shadow of his shadow, because the understanding was that demons' shadows do not have shadow. So the whole discussion there of like if we hear a voice coming from a pit or from the field, and there is a suspicion that that voice is not a real person but a demon, a shed. So one can say, okay, the Gemara in Bavli was written during the time of the Sasanic Empire in Bavel. Maybe it's a foreign influence, etc., etc. But we hear the same thing at the 16th century by Shulchan Aruch, by Rabbi Yosef Karo, that is echoing that thing, and it's not for the first time. He has it in other places as well. If they heard a voice saying, "So-and-so died," and they went to look, but did not find a man, i.e. he did not find a source for the voice, they may still permit his wife to remarry, because if somebody said he died, but no one can see that person who said that the husband died, but we can't find a husband, so that's enough of a proof that he's dead, and the wife can remarry. If they heard this voice in the field, or at the cistern, or a ruin, we do not permit remarriage on the basis of this voice, because we are concerned that it came from a demon. As the voice derived from the locals frequented by demons. In other words, also in the reality of Rabbi Yosef Karo, in Tzefat of the 16th century, the idea of demons was there. And when we look into other sources in Chazal, especially in the Midrashim, not only that Chazal mention demons, but they seem to know a lot about them and about their character and how they look like and what they do. And one of the fascinating things we hear about demons in Bereshit Rabbah, on the pasuk, and God said, "Ve'Elohim amar totzei haaretz deshe esev," let the land bring forth deshe. And as you know, the word deshe in Hebrew is daled shin aleph, and the word shed is in the word deshe, shin daled. So Rebbe said, Rebbe, the compiler of the Mishnah at the end of the second century CE, Rebbe said, these are the Sheidim that Hashem created their souls and was preparing to create their bodies when God sanctified the Shabbat and did not create them. In other words, what Rebbe is telling us, that these demons, these Sheidim, are liminal creatures that God was busy working on them, gave them soul, and he was about to create their bodies, but then Shabbat came and God stopped, and he gave us his example, like self-example, like even if you're busy with very important things, comes Shabbat, it's holy, you stop doing what you're doing. And here he stopped doing what he's doing, and we end up having these creatures in the world that don't have a body but have a soul. Now we hear other descriptions of Sheidim just to tell us that the imagination of Chazal trying to understand those concepts were vast. For example, in Chagiga, the Gemara in Chagiga says, it returns to the discussion the heavenly beings, okay, like creatures in heaven with God. And the sages thought six statements were said with regard to demons. In 3 ways, they are like ministering angels. In other words, they have 3 characteristics that are as like the angels. And in 3 ways, they're like humans. Again, this liminal place. They're not full angels and they're not full people. They're in the middle. But is that when we call them Sheidim, in our mind, Shed is something scary. It's something that we have to fear from. Okay, but here so far, they don't sound so bad. Like they have 6 things like angels or 6 things like people. What do they have? The Baraita specifies 3 ways like ministering angels. They have wings like ministering angels, and they fly from one end of the world to the other like ministering angels, and they know what will be in the future like ministering angels. The 3 things that are like human beings that I didn't add here, but it's still important, is that they eat, they drink, and they die. In other words, they really half people, half angels. But the fact that they can die is going to be very significant for our sages, and we'll wait for it to hear about it soon. But if we thought that demons are there only in the words of Chachamim, for example, when we come back to the pasuk in Shemot in Exodus, but when the Egyptian magicians priests did the same with their spells, can achartumim that are doing the same with the lahatehem, Rashi says they have secret arts. These chartumim, the servants, the mechashfim, the spellers of Paro, the magicians, they have secret arts and magic formulas which they utter secretly and in a whisper. That's what Rashi is saying. What is the spells? The spell are magic formulas which they utter secretly and in whisper. But Rashi also add what the rabbis stated, and he refers here to a Gemara in Masechet Sanhedrin. And there the Gemara says, Belahatehem refers to the work of demons. In other words, the Chartumim, the magicians of Paro, are also using demons in their miracle, in their magic formulas. In other words, this is not something positive, right? Because the Chartumim, the magicians, are using demons to do something bad or to have secret arts. The Mishnah in Pirkei Avot is adding another thing, telling us 10 things were created on the eve at the eve of Shabbat at twilight, and these are they: the mouth of the earth, the mouth of the well, the mouth of the donkey of Bil'am, the rainbow, the man, the staff of Moshe, the shamir, the letter, the writing, and the tablets. And some say also the demons, the grave of Moshe, the ram of Abraham, our father. Some say also demons. In other words, these demons really belong to the twilight zone. Like it's not the week, it's not Shabbat, it's in between, but there are in a very important list of things that are going to be of use to the people of Israel, or things that happen to the people of Israel. And they are teaching the people of Israel of some sort of a lesson. And what we want to ask is, okay, so what lesson do we learn from having demons around us, having Sheidim around us? So we'll wait for it in a minute. I just wanted to show you, I just cut a quote. In the days of the Talmud, many people were careful not to drink an even number of cups or eat food in an even number so as not to be harmed by demons. There was this notion that demons come when you do things in couple or in pairs, okay? And if 2 people enter a ruin, demons can hurt them. But if it's 3 of them or 4 of them, nothing can happen. Even the four is in dispute, like not much of it's a machloket. But don't eat two sandwiches. Don't drink 2 cups of coffee one after another. Okay. Not only that, it's stated in Masechet Pesachim. Rav Papa said, Yosef the demon said to me, he's having a conversation with this demon. All right, he's like human beings. He can eat, drink, and die, but he's also like an angel. He was born in they were not born all the way and between in twilight. So who are they? What are they? From that we hear that Chazal, we're looking to find out, had a clear vision, most of them at least, of course not everyone, that there are demons amongst us. There's a Sheidim. They're either has to do with magic, with Egyptian magic, or they're just between an angel and a person, and we just need to be be aware where they're danger and when they're not danger. Another few interesting quotes, for example, from Masechet Kiddushin. Abaye heard that Rav Acha Bar Yaakov was coming. There was a certain demon in the study hall of Abaye. He hears that Rav Yaakov Bar Acha is coming. Rav Acha Bar Yaakov is coming from Eretz Yisrael to Bavel, and he was staying with him. And there was a demon in the study hall of Abaye, which was so powerful that when 2 people would enter, they would be harmed, even during the day. Okay, even during the day, because the notion was that demons act only at night. So again, it's Abaye in Bavel. Masechet Brachot, for example, the Baraita, in another Baraita, it was taught that Abba Binyamin, like we're in the Tanaim in Eretz Yisrael, that was Bavel, this is Eretz Yisrael. If the eye was given permission to see everything that there is in the world, no creature would be able to withstand the abundance and the beauty of the demons and continue to live unaffected by them. Because if we could, we would see there's so many demons around us, says Rabbi Binyamin. And maybe we'll take one more thing in the Gemara in Brachot 62. Rabbi Tanchum Bar Chanilai said, anyone who is modest in the bathroom will be saved from 3 things: snakes, scorpions, and demons. Demons are dangerous, according to those last bits of Gemarot. And I want to go back. So we have that in Chazal, and I want to go back to the Chumash and the book of Devarim, because in the book of Devarim, in chapter 32, we have the word Sheidim mentioned. Yizbechu lashedim lo Eloah Elokim lo yedaum. They sacrificed to demons, no gods they had never known. Now, if we ask ourselves, does Chazal thinks that there are demons in the world because of the paganic world around them, the foreign world around them, but whether in Bavel or in Eretz Yisrael? No, it's already in the Torah. And in the book of Devarim, it says, the people, when I don't understand, one day, or the people of Israel, where they sin, they will sacrifice to demons, not gods they had never known. Okay, there is a danger that one day they turn and they will sacrifice to who? To demons. And demons are no gods. And they're gods that they never know, and they'll think they have powers. And what Rashi is saying, Rashi is understanding the pasuk according to the Targum, the sacrifice unto that in which is no utility. Now, the pasuk doesn't say there are no demons in the world, but the pasuk is saying that demons are an entity with no utility. And when people are turning to worship an unworthy entity, or putting their trust in an unworthy entity that have no utility, that's not going to help them, that's bad. There are demons, says the pasuk in the pshat, but they're not God. They're lehavdil elef alfei avdalot. And the Seforno is telling us forces which are not enduring, That's another thing. Forces that are not enduring, in other words, you cannot even start to compare, because those demons, they die. They don't live forever. So we understand from the Mefarshim in Yemei HaBinayim, by the way, I'd like to add the Chizkuni, and the Chizkuni is saying, why do we call them Sheidim? Because they kidnap human minds. Hem shodedim. In other words, they make us stop, think clearly, and they're threatening us with things that you really can't threaten us. So that what comes from here, and this is a suggestion I would like to follow, is that conceptually demons are forces in the world that we cannot prove they exist, but capture our mind, our existence, and ability and faith, and making us live in this world in fear, stopping us from doing things we need to do, instead of relying on God, who is eternal, who is of very much utility, who is not playing with our mind like the Sheidim HaShodedim. And this is a challenge for us. Sheidim who were born, in the twilight time, they're there to challenge us. They're there for an isayon, for our faith in God. And we hear something like that in the famous psalm of in Tzadi Aleph, Tehillim Tzadi Aleph, when the entire parak is dealing with, the person who puts their trust in God. And they understand that if they're relying on God, they shouldn't be afraid of anything. And the poet is saying, if you have that trust in God, you need not fear the terror by night or the arrow that flies by day. And what is the terror by night? Now, pshat, terror by night can mean many things: guerrilla forces, robbers, murderers. The arrow that flies by day can be wars. The Targum is saying something different. Be not afraid of the terror of the demons who walk at night, of the arrow of the angel of death that he looses during the day. In other words, the Targum definitely understand that the most fearful thing at night for human beings are demons. Now again, are they a fiction of our imagination? Are they real? Both if they're real or not, there are people that wouldn't go at night because of this danger that they feel is outside. Or they will live their lives afraid of death that is going to come upon them. And the poet is saying, wait, if you believe in God, if you trust God, if you lean on God, then those things shouldn't bother you. And the next pasuk, midever ba'ofel yaloch miketev yashut tzorayim, the plague that stalks in the darkness, or the scourge that ravage at noon. And these words are very, very strange words. Appears in Chazal that ketev meriri is a kind of a demon. And Chachamim are telling us, oh, ketev meriri, we know even how he looks like. He has such hair and such and such eyes, and you have an eye at his heart and on his head, and hands on this. In other words, the Chazal know that ketev is a demon. But the pshat of the whole psalm is there are fears out there. There are things that are really scary out there. Some are real, some are just in our imagination, but nevertheless, sometimes they can paralyze us. But if we put our trust in God, then we need not fear those things. And the one who follows that direction is the Rambam, because the Rambam in Moreh HaNevuchim, in the book for the perplexed, very interesting. Like he's writing one of the rare places when he writes an interpretation for an entire perek in Tehillim. He's not a parshan mikra, but here he tells us the following: Consider the Psalms of Mishaps and see how the author describes the great providence, the protection and defense from all mishaps that concern the body, both from those that are common to all people and those that are concerned only one certain individuals. But these are all things that belong to the body. They're real. They're scientific, I would say. From those that are due to the laws of nature and those that are caused by our fellow men. Bad things can happen to us, both of what we do to our body, or what things that just happen in nature, or what we do to each other. The psalmist says, the author then relates how God protects us from the troubles caused by men, saying, if you happen to meet on your way with an army fighting with drawn swords, killing thousands at your left, and anyway, at your right hand, you will not suffer any harm. You will behold and see how God judges and punishes the wicked that are being slain, whilst you remain unhurt. No word about a demon. Ketev Meriri, nothing. No demons that are threatening or awaiting us, or the angel of death. But realistic danger. If you put your trust in God, if you have faith in God, then God will be at your side. Let me go back. Let me go here. Only with thin eyes shalt you behold and see the reward of the wicked. The author then continues his description of the divine defense and shelter, and shows the cause of this great protection, saying that such a man is well guarded, because he hath set his love upon me. Therefore, I will deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. Knowing God's name, in other words, learning God's ways and walking in God's way, is the guarantee for God to guard us as well. And that is the protection from real things and also from imaginary things.